Hi everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with the aesthetically pleasing book tag. Let's jump right into it. The creator of this tag no longer has a channel. The video cannot be linked, so I'm not going to link it down below. This is also a very old tag. I actually came across this on Amber's channel when I was looking through her stuff. We were talking about like old videos and old tags, and I've never done this one. And I figured now was the perfect opportunity to do so. We have 11 questions. One of them at the end, the 12th one, is just to tag people. You guys know my deal. Well, maybe you don't. It's been a very long time since I've done a tag video, but I don't tag people. I just say, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. But we're going to jump right into this. Do stay tuned for the very end because I do have a surprise. So, you know, just a little teaser. Stick around. But we're going to jump right in. I have giant stacks of books in front of me. You'll see my shelves behind me look different because I've pulled out so many books, so many of my favorite books. So I cannot wait to talk about them because recently I've had the opportunity to really like deep dive on covers and aesthetics and what I like in books and what I don't like in books as I work with cover designers for my own story. So, you know, it's all a part of this new publishing process for me, and I've had to give a lot of thought to the kind of covers that I like and what I want to see in covers. So, you know, we're going to just jump right in here. First up is my favorite color combination on a book. And I'm going to talk about like a stack of books. So these are all Bachman books. We've got Beartown, Us Against You, A Man Called Uwe, and Britt Marie Was Here. And it's this greeny blue cover colors. I love like the blues and this kind of like blue gradient, blue teal aqua gradient, or the green to blues. Like these are my thing. I love a good blue tone. This one probably is my favorite out of all of them. Bluey, greeny, tealy gradients, but like honestly, his books just look amazing together. And this is probably like a close second because of this, like again, the gradient from like the different colors, but this is what's missing from right here. And I just love the way that his books look together. I think that that's probably like my favorite color scheme is like blues and greens on covers. I absolutely love it. It's probably one of my favorite things about covers. And yeah, that's probably my favorite. And then also, again, probably this like gradient, very watercolory, like fade into a different color. Love that. The second question is my favorite typography on a cover, and it's not something that I would have really paid very much attention to, I don't think. I know when I don't like it, but pinpointing what I like about a typography was a little bit harder for me. I will say I like something that is integrated. So Strange Grace, you can see that there's like some petals that fall over it. There's trees that creep up over the wording. I like something that's very clean, but does have motion and like fluidity to it. So I like this. I also really like Sorcery of Thorns. Again, you have something that's very like fluid, but clear to read. And then similarly, something like Furyborn, where it's very clear font, but there is like this metallic scroll work through it. And it's larger, easier to read. I kind of like that. Who knew? But I do. Third question is just my favorite simple cover. And I don't do simple very easily. I like when covers have a lot of detail in it. I love when covers have like little hidden meanings that you find out after reading the book, or little symbols. I like a lot of borders and detail. Like that's what I prefer, but there are some simple ones that I really like. So The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender has this gorgeous feather on it. The feather plays a lot into the story. I think this is a stunning cover. Again, that blue color that I really love. Again, blues. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which just has these forget-me-nots. This is an exclusive edition, so not all of them look like. The other ones are like gold instead. And then again, this gradient kind of watercolory feel for The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. I like this. It's a very simple silhouette down here of like a hill and a person, and then this just skyline watercolor wash of color. Really, really like that. It's the little details that get me. So those are my simple faves. Those are my simple favorites. And then the next question was harder to answer than I thought it might be, and that was my favorite end pages. Not a lot of the books that I read have like fancy end pages. There's a couple, but I don't think they're like my favorite. This Caraval series here has end pages. They have like the tent, the rose. I forget what the last one has, but they do have like little end pages, but they're not like my fave. But this book has it all. This one does have really cool end pages that look like old kind of wallpaper, but there's little details in each one of them. And then, sorry, the back one is blue with the detailing as well. This one could also fit into a whole bunch of other questions. So just really quickly, I adore the illustrations and the drawings in here, all done by Laini Taylor's husband. They're absolutely stunning. I also love the naked hardback is beautiful as well. So there's a lot to love about this book, but I do like the end pages. My favorite map, and I gotta be honest, maps aren't something that I pay a ton of attention to until they're done wrong. Like when it's a bad map or I'm like, there's really no reason to have this there. I'm not somebody who references maps very frequently when I'm reading. I think it's partly because, oh, maybe not, I don't know. Because of my aphantasia, I don't see things in my head, so I don't really care where it takes place for the most part, and it doesn't affect the way that I enjoy the story. So you would think I would reference the map more to get an understanding, but I honestly just find it being like a non-issue. I don't usually care. But I did pick Sanderson. In all of his books, Sanderson has maps. In his Skyward series, he has them. But in The Final Empire, he has multiple maps. So there's a lot of different maps in here with different details. And they are really well done. They're nicely labeled. There's a nice design aesthetic to them. And I appreciate Sanderson's maps. It is a larger world, so, you know, it makes sense to have it there. But maps aren't something I pay a ton of attention to, I'm not gonna lie. Now we get into the naked books. We're just getting into all the nitty gritty. And I have a couple faves. I'm gonna start off here with a couple that I'm sure you're expecting, and that is The Wicked Deep and This Adventure Ends. So This Adventure Ends by Emma Mills has a beautiful naked hardback with these really beautiful embossed swirls that really kind of match the actual book. There's stars and just these very pretty patterns on there. A gorgeous book. Again, pulling into those blues. Like, this is my jam. Like, I love this cover. The cover of the book, everything about that one really gets me. And then for The Wicked Deep, this only existed on the first run of this book, so you had to get an earlier copy of this book to be able to get it. I think you can still find them every now and then, but this has, again, just embossing on the book of the stars and the moon. And likewise, the Winterwood also has that. I absolutely love that. It's just like a nice little hidden detail underneath the cover. However, I've got to say, I've not read it, but Mermaid Moon by Susan Cockle has the most beautiful naked hardback I have ever seen. And I cannot wait to read this book because I really want to love it. Like, it is a gorgeous book, and this is not a special edition. This is not a book box edition. This is the standard edition of this book. This is just what this book looks like. It comes with these sprayed edges. Like, it's gorgeous. And I believe this is a darker mermaid retelling, but this is the naked hardback. And it is beautiful. This thorny rose. It is gorgeous. And again, this blue color that I love. This book is beautiful. And this is just the standard edition of the book. If you buy this book, this is what you get. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then this one also transitions into favorite back covers, which I hadn't really given much thought to, I'm not gonna lie. This one does have this mermaid in this lagoon on the front. And then when you transition to the spine and the back, it continues. So I like the continuity of the picture so that like when open, this has like a continuous image on the cover. I like that a lot. Similarly, you get that in We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. You get this view that goes all the way across and circles the book. This one I almost put this in for simple, but it's not simple because it's so beautiful. But this is Bad Romance by Heather Demetrios. And it has this like bouquet of flowers on the front, and then on the spine also these flowers. And then there's just some flowers around the back here. So there is a continuation from the front to the back. The spine actually breaks it up a little bit, but there is a continuation of this image onto the back. And it's just a little bit, and then you can see all the blurb and the description, but I think that's really, really beautiful. Best chapter headers, and I have an honorable mention, and that is Holly Black. Holly Black in general, but her Folk of the Air series, all of them have really, really pretty chapter headers in them, like illustrated chapter headers for all 3 of the books. It is the same through each like chapter, but it's different for each book. Love them. She just tends to have really beautiful artwork at the beginning of all of her chapters. But for this one, I'm actually picking House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland, and this one is a recent read that I absolutely loved. And the chapter headers have this little flower up here that's actually bleeding a little bit. And if you look closely, it's this, just in black and white. But that is on all of the chapters, and I think it's just gorgeous. A really fun little nod to the cover and to the story itself. I read this as an e-arc, so I wasn't aware of the chapter headers. I opened it up to see it, and it was a very pleasant surprise. I love it. Then we have best illustrations inside of a book. I have a couple. The Shauna McGuire Wayward Children series has a phenomenal illustrator, and now I'm forgetting her name. And I follow her on Instagram. I should find that really quick. Romina, I want to say, or Rovina Kai, and it is beautiful. I tabbed a couple of these up earlier so that I would have some examples for you, but they're very pretty, just sketch work. It's not super detailed. It almost looks like it's out of a sketchbook and it's like partial sketches, but they're gorgeous and they do add a lot to the stories. I just think they're really well done. They're well placed throughout the book, and that just, you know, adds a lot to the reading experience. Then I wanted to mention How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. Again, chapter headers are phenomenal in this. This is an exclusive edition, also illustrated by Rovina Kai. So you can see here's how you spell her name. It is the same illustrator as Shauna McGuire, and it is beautiful. Again, beautiful end pages on this one. The illustrations throughout this are stunning, and there's some on every page. There's something. So there's some that kind of circumvent the page. Beautiful artwork within this book, and I think Holly Black has really just lucked out with some of her illustrators, and the artwork that she has in these it's just beautiful. Like, it's really, really stunning artwork throughout this book. So if you're a fan of the Folk of the Air series, this is a great addition to the series, and the artwork is phenomenal. And then I have to mention The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. Again, I don't know. This is a gorgeous novel. And I want to say that it's a graphic novel, but like, I don't know what this is. It is a children's book that's not a children's book, and it's beautiful. It reminds me a lot of something that's like Winnie the Pooh-ish in style. We have some pictures that are finished, so you'll see them with color, and sketches that are mostly finished, but then you have other pictures that are very rough and very raw and just kind of outlines of images. And it's a really gorgeous art style, but also just very meaningful little life lessons and a really moving book. So all of those are absolutely standouts. And then we have my favorite spines. And I think a lot of these also could apply for favorite spines, especially Bad Romance, but I am choosing K. Ancrum here, and I actually should have taken that little bookmark off, but The Wicker King and The Weight of the Stars, I think, are gorgeous spines. Again, you see these, I know exactly who they are. I know exactly what stories they are. They're very beautiful, and both of them speak to the story itself, and it's just the detail in these. Like, I see them on my shelf, and I'm like, I know exactly what books those are. I know them by heart, and I like when the spine itself just, you can see it, you can read it, you recognize it. It's a recognizable thing, and those for me are very recognizable spines. Similarly, I really love the UK Strange the Dreamer Muse of Nightmares. They're bright, they're vibrant. You know from the moth and the dove, is it a dove, is it a bird? I don't know what it is, but you know from each of these symbols which book it is. You know from the colors, like you could see these books on your shelf from a mile away, and I love that. They're very identifiable as these stories, and I mean, either way you put them, because I do have the sprayed edges for both of these. Like, you know exactly what books these are when you see them on a shelf, and I love that about them. So yeah, those are my favorite book spines. Last up, favorite cover on your shelves. This one is tricky for me because, I mean, obviously I've gone over a ton of favorites. Mermaid Moon is obviously gorgeous. I think K. Ancrum's books are stunning. I don't have this one on my shelves yet, so technically I'm cheating. It is my favorite cover, but it's not on my shelf yet. It will be soon, but I don't have it physically with me at the moment, but I can put a picture up. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say that my favorite cover is my upcoming cover. I thought this would be a fun way to show you my title and show you my cover, but this is A Curse in Ash. This is my book. This is my cover. It really does encapsulate everything that I love in a cover. Everything that I've talked about is in this one, and I want to just break it down for you a little bit and explain why I love it so much. One of the things that I love the most about this cover is, one, I got to have so much say, full creative license to discuss with the designers exactly what I wanted, but you can see that I have my greens, I have my gradients of color. It is 100% a color palette that I adore. When I have my long form vlog come out, you'll see a little bit more about all of the different covers that I went through with my designer. This one is the one that I absolutely fell in love with. So you'll get to see all of the ones that I didn't vibe with / rejected, and then all of the iterations of this until we came to this final cover. I love the woods in the background. I absolutely adore the sparks coming up from the bottom of the book. I love the border, means like the world to me, because in each of the corners are little things that absolutely 100% apply to the book. There are little hidden meanings from the story that I won't give away. Even the tarot card that the person on the cover is holding speaks to the story. That is not my character, but it's very indicative of my character. But the funny thing is too, is that I've had my book cover as my phone lock screen, as my background. It's kind of everywhere. I'm actually wearing my like tarot card shirt just for this video. The tarot card does play into the book. Like, all these little aspects of the cover actually mean something for the story, and I absolutely love it. I'm like over the moon excited for this book and for this cover. It is perfect. It's perfect for me. And when you see the books that I gave them as recommendations or as inspiration for things that I like in book covers, you see how much this really does hone in on like the things that I love. I like the fluidity of the picture. I like that there's motion in her hair, even in the wording of the title, that it's not statically like straight. It's got a little curve to it. It really is my favorite cover on my bookshelves, or it will be my favorite cover on my bookshelves once I get it in my hands. And I cannot wait for you guys to have it as well. So this is my official title reveal and cover reveal. A Curse in Ash was a long time coming. I had a working title for a very long time that I did not love. And I landed on A Curse in Ash and just haven't looked back. It's perfect for my story, and when you read my book, you'll realize why. If you've been following my journey with this book for a very long time, you know that my main character's name is Ashlyn, and her nickname is Ash, so the title does play on her name as well as, you know, the fiery elements of the book. It's a great integration of the story and a title. It is a fantastic integration of the details of the story and the cover, and it just all kind of came together in a really beautiful, really magical way. And the design team at Atmosphere Press was phenomenal. Going back and forth with them and working to make it exactly what I wanted it to be has been so seamless and so amazing. This is actually just a really fun tag that I was very excited to film, but I thought that this would be a fun way to talk about some books that I love, talk about covers and aesthetic that I enjoy, and the natural progression of finding something that I loved for myself and my story, and to reveal my title and my cover to you. I enjoyed doing this tag. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, be sure to give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, click the notification bell so you know when I put up new videos. But that's going to be it for this video. I will see all of you in the next one. Bye, friends.